If you are living in Jamaica or the Caribbean, you need to understand that President-elect Donald Trump of the United States tariff plans may end up being Trump tariff hell. How? I'll let you know. Hey, do us a favor. Please hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 1,000 subs as soon as it's possible. Peter Lloyd, World of Wealth. Welcome back to the channel, people. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Peter Lloyd. Welcome to Peter Lloyd, World of Wealth, where we discuss all things finance. Now, let me just say this disclaimer immediately. This video is in no way, shape, or form political. I am not expressing a political opinion about President-elect Donald J. Trump of the United States, who takes office on the 20th of January 2025. The video is discussing his proposed tariff policies and the impact it will definitely have if they're implemented on Jamaica, the Caribbean, and the members of the diaspora. So let's get into this. Now, as I said, most of you, I'm pretty sure, knows that Donald Trump has become the President of the United States once again. He takes office, as I said, on the 20th of January 2025. And some of you may be aware in your daily goings back and forth that there is a discussion about his proposed tariffs. Now, first up, let me tell you what a tariff is. Really important to discussion. A tariff is essentially a tax that one country levies on another country. So let me explain. Let's say Jamaica is exporting sugarcane to Trinidad and Tobago. Highly improbable, but let's say we're doing that. And Trinidad and Tobago believes that Jamaica has an unfair advantage in terms of its exports. So they put a 20% tax on us. That means that every time a shipment of sugarcane goes from Jamaica to Trinidad, there will be an additional cost of 20%, read the tax. Now, the second and most important thing about tariffs that you need to understand is who pays the tariffs. Now, in this instance, it would not be Jamaicans who are paying the tariff. It would not be the island of Jamaica, because remember, Trinidad would have levied a 20% tax on Jamaica. Who pays the taxes ultimately this is the sequence. The manufacturers in Jamaica, the people who are putting together the sugarcane, the tax is levied on them. They in turn put that tax on the persons in Trinidad who are importing the sugarcane from Jamaica. The people importing the sugarcane from Jamaica, they're not going to pay that 20% tax. No. You know who's going to pay it? The customers buying the sugarcane from those people who have imported the sugarcane. So ultimately, tariffs are not paid by the person who you have the tariff against. Tariffs are paid by the consumers, you and I, the people in the country that the item has been imported into. You really need to understand that, because that's kind of really important in terms of my discussion. So how will these proposed tariffs impact Jamaica? Let's go through them very, very quickly. First up, Donald Trump has proposed a 20%, I believe, tax on China. He has also proposed, I think, a similar tax or something close on Canada and Mexico. Now, Mexico, Canada, and China are America's biggest importers and exporters. Now, first impact, as I said, it would be you and I, the consumer, as I explained, who would be paying that tariff. So it is the citizens of the United States and the people living in the United States who are going to be paying that tariff. It's not going to be China. It's not going to be Canada, and it is certainly not going to be Mexico, aka Mexico. You understand me? So remember, the entire world some countries are still tackling the global inflation, which of course was a result of the pandemic and the two ongoing major wars that are happening. So short supply, etc. And I'm going to be honest with you, some of it is just price gouging. Your people just are charge one whole heap of money that they don't really need to. And as you know, although inflation is going down in the United States, Jamaica, and many countries, unfortunately the prices don't seem to be going down either, as you probably know. So what would happen if these tariffs are implemented by Donald J. Trump, the President-elect of the United States, is that inflation would go right back up. How would it impact Jamaica and the Caribbean? Now, most of our imports comes from China directly, but a lot of our imports also come vis-a-vis the United States of America. So yeah, it would definitely impact Jamaica and the Caribbean by pushing inflation all the way back up when we've just gotten it on the wraps. And as you know, people across the entire globe are complaining that it's hard to eat, literally, because prices are so high. And these prices impact everything. They impact your rent, they impact everything, because of course each person is going to pass on this to the consumer. Ultimately, it's the consumer that pays. So people, these tariffs would be horrendous, and they would be hell to pay for Jamaica and the Caribbean. You really need to grasp that. The second thing that is important to understand, Donald J. Trump was already president of the United States between 2016 and 2020. So these countries prepared for him, because in 2018 he started a trade war, a tariff war with China. So I'm pretty sure everyone kind of figured he was going to go down the same path. So what has happened in this instance is that the president of Mexico has said, okay, you put that tariff on us, we gonna put that tariff on you. Canada has pretty much said the same thing, and China has said the same thing. In fact, China from 2018 started because China was the biggest importer of soy from the United States. So from 2018, they have been drastically cutting the amount of soy. In fact, if my memory serves me correctly, China was importing 40% of the soy from America. They're now only importing 27%. That gap has been filled by Brazil, and they have said that should Donald Trump impose more taxes, they're going to cut that soy importation by even more. So this, of course, if you remember in 2018, it really hit this farming belt of the United States terribly. I mean, really, really badly. Many persons lost their farms as a result of this act. So understand that the same thing would happen again. I don't see what could make it different. How would that impact us? The very same way. There are Jamaicans who work in some of these farms. There are people in the Caribbean who work in some of these farms, because remember, a lot of these types of jobs, the typical American is not going to be doing those jobs. Okay, they're not doing those jobs under no circumstance. They're not doing it. It is generally people who you could classify as short-term workers or immigrants. Those are the people who are doing those jobs. So if those farms are hit, you're talking about it directly hitting the pockets of persons in the diaspora, the Caribbean, and definitely Jamaica. Okay, so the second part of that second thing that I'm saying is that there would definitely be a tariff and our trade war. And the other way that would impact is that it would definitely impact the economy, because remember, as I said, it would push up inflation in all the countries that are putting the tariff on the other person. Of course, inflation going up, things are already rough for many persons across the world in terms of just paying for basic goods. That would not be a good thing. Because you see, a lot of the Caribbean and Jamaica, we get a lot of money for citizens of these countries who live outside of Jamaica, live in Canada, live in the United States. They send back something we call remittances. Remittances are basically people who work in those countries who send back money to support their relatives in Jamaica. If inflation is up, if prices are up, that's going to directly hit the pockets of these people. They will not be able to send money vis-a-vis MoneyGram or Western Union or any of these things. So the remittances are a big part of the Jamaican economy, as well as the Caribbean. So understand that if there's a trade war and it pushes inflation up on all of these major countries, it's going to impact us directly also, because remittances will be down. So that's going to impact us. So those are just three quick notes, and this is why I said this could be a Trump tariff hell. This would be really bad for us here in Jamaica and the Caribbean, like no joke. Because understand that if Jamaica catches a cold, we get really sick, and so does the rest of the Caribbean. America is the most powerful country on earth, and they are the wealthiest country, not on earth but in history. So what do I think about him doing these tariffs? I would really wish I could sit in a room with him and say, Mr. Trump, that may not be the best idea. It didn't quite work the last time, and I don't really think it's going to work this time. But that's just my 2 cents. And like I said, this is not political. I'm not an American citizen, so I don't really think I should speak about any political, quote-unquote, aspects of America. Let the Americans deal with their stuff. But I'm telling you, that's how this will directly impact us. So this, of course, is just my opinion. Now, thank you for making it Peter Lloyd World of Wealth. Do not forget to hit the subscribe button, people. hit the subscribe button and let me know if you're finding value from these videos. We will try to get more to you as soon as it's possible. Don't forget that you are royals, kings and queens. Bless us.